Well, Adam Schiff has lost it, as we just said, but when it comes to Russia, he's also tried to claim that the release of last Friday's memo would result in, not making this up, more Oklahoma City-style terror attacks. Adam Schiff.
Sources of information are going to dry up. If you have a neighbor next door who's buying a lot of fertilizer and it seems odd to you because they don't have a yard, are you going to think twice before calling the FBI? Because if they get a search warrant for your neighbor and something is politicized, the political winds change, and there's an investigation, your identity is going to be revealed because you really can't trust that this is going to be kept confidential anymore.
I don't know the context of that interview. I hope the anchor pushed back against that. That is too much. Because the point is, if you support more transparency, you're basically handing a truck bomb to Timothy McVeigh. That's outside the bounds of normal debate, I would say. Richard Goodstein was an advisor to both of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaigns, and he joins us tonight. Look, Richard, without even debating the details of this, both of us have seen the Nunes memo. You probably thought it was a crock. I thought it was kind of interesting. Yeah. But neither one of us could point to a single thing in there that imperiled American national security. I mean, it just wasn't anything. And no one says there was. In light of that, you have the ranking Democrat on the Intel Committee, big job, saying crap like that on TV. Yeah. I mean, that's too irresponsible, even for Washington, don't you think?
Well, the FBI thought there was a problem with it. The Justice Department thought there was a problem with it, which is why one of their senior people in congressional relations and legislative affairs wrote a letter saying, please do not release the memo. They had read the memo.
On what grounds?
Well, you have to ask them.
Well, I did. And I have the grounds, which is they believe that if this were declassified, that they would have to declassify a whole bunch of other stuff. And my view as an American citizen is you have to, by law, declassify everything unless you can show it imperils American national security. You live here. You know the permanent bureaucracy. It's not a conspiracy. They just don't like declassifying stuff because it obviously detracts from their power, which is rooted in secrecy. They know you don't. That's the whole game. So, like, why should I sit there and take a lecture from this Schiff guy about how I'm Tim McVeigh when I just want to see the memo?
I think everybody in the intelligence community believes that getting classified material out that shouldn't be is a problem, and it will, over time, kind of decrease the willingness of people to cooperate. Look,
I believe that too. I just want to say for the record, I believe that too. If you can show that releasing something hurts the country, I'm against releasing it. Of course I am. But what about this memo hurt our country?
The solution is to have the Trump campaign not have hired a Russian agent. I'm sorry. Look, back when the Rosenbergs were giving atomic secrets, when the Rosenbergs were giving atomic secrets to the Russians, we would have preferred that we have known in advance what they were doing. Carter Page was giving speeches in Russia in 2016.
There's so many different things here. So, one, you're conceding the Rosenbergs were guilty because the left have defended them for 70 years. I'm just wondering.
I don't want to litigate that here.
Okay. Just to be totally clear, because the Russians were the favorite state of the American left for 70 years. Okay, so I just want to be clear, and they defended the Rosenbergs up until I guess right now. Second, which Russian agent did they hire? They never hired Carter Page, who was a volunteer. Second, you're really calling him a Russian agent?
They just paid him 5 or 6 figures amounts of money to be over there and give speeches and so forth, including one bashing the United States in 2016 at the time that Donald Trump was saying, yes, he was one of my 5 advisors along with Papadopoulos.
The Trump people?
No, the Kremlin.
Okay, the Russian government. So he's a Russian agent.
And
so you're saying that anybody who does a business transaction...
I don't think that's what it was considered.
Well, giving a speech for money is a business transaction.
Well, and starting in 2013, it was more than just giving speeches for money. He was very much, frankly, going back to his college thesis, he was very pro-Russia. Fine, you're talking, making fun of the left for being pro-Russia.
It's not fine. So if you think... If you like Russia, that makes you anti-American? I mean, I'm kind of...
What makes you anti-America is giving a speech in the Kremlin bashing the United States. It's not a business transaction. It's not something other than something that's actually considered rather unpatriotic against the backdrop of a presidential candidate saying, yes, he's one of my 5 people with George Papadopoulos giving me foreign policy advice.
Let me just say that the Trump campaign... I mean, that's a ludicrous claim. They didn't really have a campaign.
He said it.
I get it. He said it. I just wouldn't. I don't personally take it seriously. Second, if he's attacking the United States on foreign soil, I'm totally against that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean, and I would never defend it, I think it's wrong, but it doesn't mean he's a spy. And if he is, let's arrest him and get this over with. And if he's not, let's stop this.
That's why they were doing surveillance on him, not just once, twice, or 3 or 4 times. And
did they arrest him?
Did they charge him? Let's see.
No, they just impugned his reputation and
let's see when
life.
Mueller issues his report, if he gives Carter Page a clean bill of health, he should be the one that says, yes, give me a reputation back. I doubt that will happen.
On this last point, can you just concede that in legal terms, a clean bill of health is not charging somebody? Okay? So his job is either to charge somebody or not. We're not interested in Robert Mueller's views on morality. We're interested in his legal judgment. Right. So if Carter Page is not charged, will you come on the show and apologize for having the federal government destroy his life?
And if it turns out that what Carter Page was doing gave rise to conduct that was frankly inconsistent with the interests of the United States, it's John McCain who's saying that what they're doing is carrying out Putin's
I'm not,
agenda.
It's ludicrous what McCain is saying. I don't want to attack McCain on this show, but let's be honest, we both know that's pathetic.
Well,
thank you.
I don't.
Okay, well, I do. Thank you, Richard. Good to see you. Donald Trump Jr. is joining us to discuss the aftermath of the release of Friday's memo. That's next.